You know, it was almost 5 years ago when I first heard about this concept of Sue. This was intriguing. I wanted to be a part of it. So the very morning of that first Sue talk, I woke up with a massive migraine. I did what almost any other woman would do. I took a double dose of medication, a short nap, and then I powered through an hour's worth of rush hour traffic so I could be in the seat for that first talker. After inspiration, laughter, and a few tears, I drove home with a huge knot in my stomach. Something was really wrong with Sue. Wait a minute. Who doesn't want to be successful, unstoppable, and empowering? I mean, seriously, when I think of empowering, I think of women like Maya Angelou or Mother Teresa. Problem is, I am not poetic, and I most certainly do not want to live anywhere other than sunny San Diego. How about unstoppable? I think of a powerhouse, a force of nature ahead of her time, like Margaret Thatcher or Eleanor Roosevelt. But I hate politics. So let's start with success, and the rest of that stuff, that can just come later. I remember being a little girl thinking, when I'm big, I'm going to be just like her. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be independent, and then I can change the world. The funny thing is, I can tell you the exact minute that seed for desire was planted. I can also tell you when that seed sprouted through the ground, blossomed, and took on a life of its own. My first memory of my father. He was handsome. A friend of mine once even said that he looks like Elvis. And I am not talking about Viva Las Vegas. No, we're talking blue suede shoes, hound dog. Got the picture? So I couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 at the time. And we were in the park. Those were the days when you dressed in your Sunday finest to go out somewhere. Anybody remember that? Yes. All right. We were walking and it was crowded and I was a little bit afraid of getting lost. So I reached out for his hand, and at that minute he took his cigarette and put it in his left hand and burned me. The funny thing is, I do not remember the pain the way that I remember the argument that followed. My mother yelled at him, "You did that on purpose." He didn't deny it. You see, holding my hand, that did not fit his image. Seed planted. Fast forward a few years, maybe I was like 9 or 10, and I heard another argument. From across the hall, I heard him yell, "I don't want more kids. I will not be disappointed in another girl." That did it. I was going to be successful. I wasn't going to be a disappointment. I was going to be unstoppable. Do any of you know that Sue? Bold, brash, hard-working, sometimes leaving a wake of destruction in her path. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to take people on that train with me. I would look at them and say, "You can do it." I'd look them in the eye and I say, "I believe in you." I'd get my pom-poms out and say, yay, time for a pep talk, let's go. Nothing worked. You do not know how many times I heard some version of, yeah, but you don't know my story. I don't know exactly how, but I just decided I was going to succeed. I worked every day. I graduated at the top of my class. I did what needed to be done because, you see, if I was successful, maybe he wouldn't be disappointed. If I was successful, maybe he'd love me. Maybe he'd want me. That goal would never be reached because on January 2nd, 1981, mental illness took my father's life. But even after that day, I continued to strive at all costs. Looking back, I was looking for the approval of a man who wasn't even there. I did graduate at the top of my class. I even worked 40-hour weeks to put myself through UCSD and get a degree in optical physics. Then I traded in sine waves for market volatility and became a registered investment advisor. That was where I met a very special client. She had a horrible situation. I kept trying to coach her through, letting her know that we were going to make it through together. But nothing was working. So out of desperation, I told her a little bit of my story. Not a lot, just a little. And she gasped in horror. But then she exhaled. And I saw it in her eyes, a glimmer of hope. Not for success. It was way too early for that. But she believed that tomorrow would come. The funny thing is, success changed for me after that. Unstoppable no longer meant powering through every obstacle. Sometimes it meant taking a step back, evaluating, learning, readjusting, and then moving forward. Because sometimes the end result of success looks much different than we initially thought in the planning stages. It does. So that was it. That was the moment I really realized what Sue got wrong. She got it backwards because, see, success doesn't make you unstoppable and empowering. It is not until you empower somebody to be unstoppable that you are really a success. Success without a successor is failure. You know, I may not ever be able to change the roots of my unstoppable desire for success. But today, I can enjoy the fruits. I have two beautiful, powerful women who are my daughters who will not let the world or their mother tell them what success will be to them. I have a husband that thinks ambition is sexy. And I've even been recognized in Forbes magazine for consistently helping families. Why am I telling you this today? It is not so that you can understand why I am still today uncomfortable holding my husband's hand. It is not so that you can step up here and tell your most painful childhood stories. Seriously, who does that? It is so that going forward, each of you has the opportunity to think about holding a lost little girl's hand. Each of you has the chance to look past a hurricane of activity so that you can explain another definition for unstoppable. Because together, all of us raising up the next generation of Sue will make each of our lives a life worth living.